Well, this is a video that I didn't want or expect to be making, but I'll always say I'll provide you with the good, the bad and the ugly when it comes to EV ownership, solar panels and heat pumps. And unfortunately, pretty recently the high voltage battery on my Tesla completely died. Let's take a look at what happened and more importantly how much the replacement cost. Hi everyone, I'm Danny V Solar and recently my 2019 Tesla Model 3 performance battery was pretty poorly. Funnily enough, just a few weeks before this happened, I was proudly explaining to a colleague how EV batteries were actually lasting longer than predicted lab tests, due to the nature of real-world driving, accelerating fast and accelerating slow, versus the traditional lab tests. And this way of driving is actually benefiting batteries and they are proving to last longer than expected. And I would usually be one of the first to comment on some crazy comments that I see that EV batteries only last for 3 years and then after that they're scrap. But was I about to be proved wrong? Sure enough, after finishing work a few weeks later, I got into the car as normal and went to drive out the car park. As soon as the car started to regen brake, once I took my foot off the accelerator, it beeped at me and I saw this error message come up on the screen, telling me that there was an issue with the high voltage battery. I looked into the error message and it was giving me a BMS_A074 error, maximum battery charge level reduced, okay to drive. So when I looked into this error message, it seemed to suggest a serious problem with the high voltage battery and to arrange a service as soon as possible. So this sounded pretty serious and potentially terminal for the battery. Thankfully, I was okay to drive home and I managed to get home with around about 35% left on the battery. I then put the car on charge and based on the error message, that was stating that I would be able to charge up to 50% and that I would be okay to drive it until I could arrange a service. Now, the service time was around about 3 weeks, so I thought I'd book it in. However, once it got to 49%, it then stopped and then afterwards wouldn't let me charge up to 25% and then up to 20%. And the battery dropped quite significantly from around about 45% down to around 20%. I then decided not to drive it in this time in case I needed to get it up to Newcastle, which is the nearest service centre to me, which is around about 45 miles away. In the meantime, I'd booked an appointment but there wasn't anything available short term, so I had to book it in for around about 3 weeks in advance. The next morning, Tesla rang me and were actually really good at this point, so they'd done some overnight diagnostics after I'd called in to arrange the service, and they'd already determined that the car would need a full, complete battery replacement. They then arranged a tow truck to transport the car to Newcastle for the following day, and sure enough, after further great communication, the car was on the back of a tow truck and on its way to Tesla for a replacement battery with around about 18% left at this point, even though I hadn't been anywhere at all since the issue happened. Incidentally, the lovely looking Porsche Taycan on the tow truck had apparently had some wires chewed by a mouse or a rat. I can't imagine the shock that would have given the rat if it had bit the wrong wires. So just for some background, I bought this car around about 3 years ago second hand, and it was around about 3.5 years old at the time. And up to this point it had been absolutely flawless, needing nothing other than general maintenance things such as tyres, and one of the suspension arms went on the front suspension as well. I have to say it is by far the best car that I've ever owned. It's so cheap to run on a cheap Octopus overnight tariff, costing around about £5 to fill it from empty to totally full, and that'll still get me around about 200 to 250 miles even at the age it is now. It's also really quiet and it feels totally effortless when I put my foot down. Now some might argue it's maybe not the best looking car in the world, and I kind of agree with that, but it's not too bad. So a couple of hours later my car arrived at the service centre in Newcastle and Tesla had put an estimated completion date of a month in advance to complete the works. Now I had hoped that they could get this done quicker than this, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. I did ask about a courtesy car as I still needed to get to and from work and everywhere else. They told me that I was on a list as they had none available, but they did offer me £70 a day in Uber credits, so I definitely made use of that while I didn't have the car. And that gave me enough flexibility to get around okay during that time period. Anyway, a couple of weeks passed by and the car eventually died completely and I lost the tracking to see where it was. Thankfully, during this time I was on holiday for 2 weeks, so I didn't necessarily need the car for around about half of this time that it was in the garage. And after a few more messages pushing Tesla to get an actual date on this, they started work on it 2 days before the estimated completion date. Now, I know the service centre was obviously busy with the time lag that I couldn't get an appointment for, but it is a little disappointing that it took 28 days before they started working on this when they had the car the whole time, and then only started working on it the last 2 to 3 days. There also seemed to be quite a long delay in receiving the battery pack to Tesla as well, so I think this added to the delay a little bit. I did question whether this was likely to be a new battery or a refurbished one, and I'd read online that generally these are refurbished packs around about the same age or mileage as the one that gets replaced. And this was the case. The engineer had described it as a remanufactured unit that was being fitted. Now, I think it's worth providing some context on how many battery packs actually have this kind of issue with the age of my car. I tried to do all the things right, not charging above 80% and not letting it get too low for too long to try and preserve the life of the battery pack. And when the battery pack died, I had around about 80,000 miles on the clock. And this is where EV warranties come in really handy. The warranty on my car was up to 120,000 miles or 8 years. So thankfully, this was all covered under warranty and I didn't have to pay anything extra. And after doing some research on this, it looks like I was pretty unlucky in terms of my battery dying and the chances of it actually happening. Research in the latest data suggests that only 1 to 2% of batteries outside of the warranty period break. So this is a failure outside of that 8-year warranty period, which I think is pretty crazy when you think about it. I also looked at the percentage that fail during the warranty period, and this is even less, with estimates of around about 0.3% to 1.5%. Depending on which data source you look at, and whilst there is some battery degradation year on year, it's not quite as bad as the perception of the public generally makes out. And of course, battery technology is getting better all the time. As mentioned, my car is 6.5 years old now. Even the difference between that time frame and currently, the battery technology has moved on so much. Still though, with an estimated 300,000 Teslas now on the UK road, 1% of that is 3,000 Tesla battery failures. So it looks like I've just fallen into this category. And when you look into internal combustion engine failures as well, the failure rate is pretty comparable within the warranty period. A quick look at some more data actually suggests that the vast majority of EV batteries and their health is holding up pretty well overall, with 4 to 5 year old EVs with a median battery health of around about 93.5%, 8 to 9 year old EVs, median capacity still around 85%, and high mileage vehicles with over 100,000 miles on, they often retain 88 to 95% battery health. Anyway, back to my story. On the last date that my Uber credits ran out, the car was fixed and ready for me to pick up at Newcastle. I was able to get back up to Newcastle using my remaining Uber credits, and it was the usual Tesla hands-off service where I just got into the car, told them I was ready to pick that up and drove away. So what is my overall opinion of what happened? Well, overall I was slightly disappointed that the battery died so quickly at 6.5 years old. I did expect it to last longer, and it did slightly make me question some of the beliefs I had around how long these batteries were lasting in the real world. But I think in reality I was just a little bit unlucky that this died within this time period. And as it was all covered under the warranty, which is exactly what the warranty is designed for, I can't really have any complaints. The Tesla service team generally were really good, and they also fixed a leak free of charge on the drivetrain as well. I guess the only downside for me was the fact that I didn't have the car for a month, and it was only actually took 3 to 4 days to actually fix the car itself. I'm very hopeful that this battery replacement will last a long time, and to be fair, if it lasts another 6.5 years, then chances are I might not even have the car at 13-year-old then. But who knows, maybe I will keep it for that long. Let me know your opinion on EV batteries and whether you've had similar experiences to me, whether this was with a Tesla or any other EV. And also, if you still are interested in buying a Tesla, there's a referral link where you will get free supercharger miles if you purchase that using my link as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to follow my journey throughout all things EVs, solar panels, electric vehicles, home batteries and much more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.